Let's talk anime. Hello and welcome to Brandon's Discuss Anime, a 15 plus Reckless Mirror podcast. I am your host, Brandon Hortbath, and with me are my co-hosts, Brandon Falinger.
Yes, hello. Clearly we weren't talking about anything awful.
Oh god, don't start, don't start. Also with us as usual, Ryan Stokely.
Dude, we're just gonna stay raw the entire podcast. This is just a raw cast right now.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh.
We talk raw talk. It's raw talk.
Two editions.
Oh, it's just gonna be a through line to this entire thing.
Oh god.
Sorry,
that's fine. Two editions I have. One from 2 episodes ago. You watching a badly dubbed Rurouni Kenshin, Ryan?
Oh yeah.
That actually came out first.
Really?
Yes, in 1999, and the Toonami version is the Media Blasters dub, which is highly considered to be far, far superior.
Wow. And when did that one come out?
2004.
Okay, yeah, so
And
I think that's right around when I started watching like
Adult Swim.
anime. Yeah.
Yeah, and the version you saw was the Sony dub from 1999.
Yeah, because my friend had like the original box set.
Actually, it was called Samurai X in initial dub.
Yeah. And wasn't there a movie? I thought the first movie there was Samurai X or something.
I think I just took a small look into the and I didn't go much deeper than that.
I was gonna say, that's kind of the situation for Dragon Ball Z back in the day when they had like the Ocean dub from Canada that just doesn't sound as good as the Funimation dub.
The one from like 1980 something?
Yeah. Like I remember that Vegeta. I remember that voice, but dear God, did it not feel like it matched.
Dude, it's crazy. Like my friend's mom used to watch Dragon Ball when she was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Or like in her 20s or whatever. Like it's freaking nuts.
Shows you how classic Dragon Ball is that is still talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
Yeah. And building off of last week, when we got sidetracked into cheerleading does exist in Japan, but it's more of a sport with mixing cheering, dance, and stunts. Although the Oendan, or cheering squad, is a thing serving a similar purpose to American cheerleaders. I was surprised to find out that most baseball teams have Oendans.
Yeah, I think you know what that makes sense because like baseball is like really big over there.
It's true, it is.
Isn't it like cricket and like baseball like pretty big?
I don't know about cricket. I know cricket's really big over, across the pond. But I don't think in Japan cricket's a big thing. I know baseball's a massive thing there.
Yeah.
Golf is huge.
Really, golf? That's not one I would have expected.
And marathon running, because when I used to watch Kamen Rider live a few years back, they had, I think, some college racing day, and so it would be off for that day because the college races are on.
Oh man, I want to make a joke, but I don't know. I don't think. Yeah. Never mind.
Is it dirty or is it racist or both?
I don't think it's racist, but
it might be.
Just I'll type it in chat, but keep going. Sorry.
What is the long distance? The entire island of Japan?
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't know if that would be or not. so I didn't
No,
say.
I think you'd be fine. I think that's good. I don't think that would be racist in any way, shape, or form.
No.
All right.
You're
Go
just
ahead.
making fun of a movie character.
All right. I just wanted to double check. I
No,
wanted
you're
to
good.
say something wild.
Go ahead. Tell the audience what you were going to say, Orion.
I was gonna say they were long distance running from Godzilla. Yeah.
And that just reminds me of one time when I was 13-ish, watching, it was a Mothra movie, and of course everybody was panicking, and Rachel just comes over and says, "What are you watching?" And I'm like, "Monster movie." She goes, "No." She just watches it a few minutes. "That little Japanese boy, go get Godzilla. He'll save the day."
Oh, God.
And I say, "Rachel, this is Mothra. Godzilla isn't in this movie." She just looks at me. "No Godzilla? Japan is doomed."
I mean, that could also be a reference to the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla thing, which was freaking terrible compared to what Godzilla movies are meant to be. Like that. Oh man, that thing's a trip. I'll tell you that much. Like, come on.
Might have to watch that again.
What, the Hanna-Barbera cartoon?
With Godzuki?
Yes. It's fucking Scooby-Doo, man. Like, it feels like it's just straight up Scooby-Doo, except, you call Godzilla to fix everything. And then Godzuki's just your goddamn, like, misfit who doesn't know what he's doing.
Okay, let's unmask King Ghidorah. It was old man, back off.
Old man.
No. You're saying that. I was thinking of it in the exact reverse. Where it's like, all right, who was the actual villain here? Who was the tar monster? King Ghidorah? Like, it's a fucking 20-story tall fucking monster in a fucking ridiculous ass costume.
And then I realized that was no Girl Scout. It was a goddamn Loch Ness monster.
Exactly.
Dang it, Loch Ness monster.
I'll give you my treat, Biddy.
Oh man.
Besides that, just been playing Baba Is You.
Okay.
That's it for me. Brandon, Ryan, anything on your sides?
You go first, Ryan.
Trying to think. I've been playing a lot of Sea of Thieves. And by a lot, I mean like.
Oh yeah, didn't that come out? That came out on Steam. That's right. Or are you playing on?
It's if I have it on Xbox because I have the $5 a month. You get like all the Xbox games, but they added like this update where there's like an actual adventure and stuff. They added fishing. I haven't played in like a year, but now it's like amazing. So
I've heard the same thing. Well, no, I shouldn't say I heard the same thing. What I've heard is essentially the game is garbage on your own, but if you play with a group, it's a lot more fun.
It is like
it is specifically fun. It specifically seems to be designed for a group and not solo play.
Yeah, I do sail around solo. Like I can fish now, which is pretty fun to do solo. But yeah, so that's what I was doing.
I was also hearing about like spawn campers and stuff, or like they kill you and then they keep killing you every time you spawn.
Some guy tried to do that actually. My nephew and I, we spent like 2 hours doing this puzzle and sailing around the ocean to different islands for this quest. And we get on the boat with like the shroud breaker thing, and my nephew's mic cuts out, and apparently there's a guy on our boat. And I get in like to set the object down, and this guy's like, "Oh, let's talk about it." And my gun I had no ammo, so I like leaned down to pick up ammo, and I started like loading my gun, and he started attacking me, and he killed me, and then I guess he killed Josh in the water. So Josh like just rage quit, and then I got back to the ship. He didn't take anything. He was hiding on the mast. and I just walk up and killed him. And then Josh got back on, and we finished the thing. So there are like random people. Like we didn't even see him because we were inside of this like thing.
I've heard the horror stories of people that try to play the game, and like I mentioned the spawn camping, but I mean literally because you respawn on the boat, they just stick around on your boat, just constantly killing you until there's nothing left.
Yeah,
like 2 steel. And it's not like a one-off person; it's like a group.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I've done some pirating, just as like a lone wolf, like against like 4 people.
Yeah,
and tricking them, but usually I don't like screw them over. Like I'll just kill them and let them know I could have taken their stuff, and they just leave their stuff,
like
and like log off.
I think it would be really fun if they got like if you got on like a role play server. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, dude. The first couple months, that's everybody. Everybody was doing that. It was awesome.
That just sounds really fun to me.
Like everybody's just talking in pirate voice.
Oh man. I wish I could say that I've done something new and different, but it's more or less much of the same. For me, it's just been more Final Fantasy VII. I finally dropped back into that now that I've what was the one I polished something off. I forget what it was now. I'm blanking on. Oh, right, Baldur's Gate 1. I finally finished that. So now with that gone, I'm dropping back into Final Fantasy VII. I got to Rocket Town. Since I last talked to you, Brandon, I haven't picked it up again yet. So I'm still at that point. I haven't explored Rocket Town. I haven't done anything different. That's all I got. Interesting backstory with Red 13 and his papa and his mama. I'll say that. I'm still high flying to see what random character I get for that date sequence that I know is coming up eventually.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gaming toward anyone. I'm just bringing along whoever's most interesting at the time.
I mean, they will come to you.
Well, no. I mean, like, whenever there's supposedly, like, relationship points at stake, whenever that happens.
Ah.
I'm not gaming it in that way to try and get a specific character. It's just going to be whoever shows up at the time. I have no idea who it's going to be. So I'm gonna have that kind of a fun time for sure. Once that comes around, which is, I guess, must be coming up sooner or later.
I remember everybody needs to be in your party. Like, you have Kate Seath, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I literally have all of the characters I think available to me at this point, including all of the optional ones.
I think there's like 8 in total, so I think all you're missing is Sid.
Then yeah, he'd be the final one. So yeah, there was that. I was still playing through Dark Souls 3 a little bit, just going through trying to get like the trophies for having all spells. Oh, and I dropped a little bit, I should say, back into Witcher 3, mostly because there's no way to pause those goddamn cutscenes. I ended up stopping because I had a new puppy to deal with. Now that she's not, constantly barking and needing attention anymore, I feel like I can finally start playing that game again and not worry about like missing out on story details and shit. So yeah, that's about it for me. I mean, there's a lot of gaming news we could bring up. A lot of Ubisoft bullshit that's been going on. That's not nice at all.
Yeah.
But I'll probably just leave that as is and not dive into those nasty details, let's just say.
It would be for the best if we don't talk about it.
Probably. I mean, I think people should be aware of it, but still, I don't know if this is really the place for it.
Right. If it was something smaller, we'd probably have to bring it up.
Yeah, if it wasn't such a severe thing. All I'll say is I do hope that those responsible get taken into custody and like justice is served. But Yeah, that's as in depth as I want to get with this kind of thing.
Okay. Today we are reviewing the Winter 2020, so relatively early this year, relatively recent. Keep your hands off Eizouken.
I think it's pronounced Eizouken.
Eizouken?
I think so. Or Eizouken. I'm trying to remember how it was pronounced in the anime. I don't remember for sure.
Keep your hands off Eizouken.
Damn.
So Ryan, you heard him. Keep your hands off.
Did they just like remake that Bart Simpson Butterfingers commercial?
That's where we're going.
Get your fingers off my. What was the name of the person? Eizouken. Yeah, don't lay a finger on my Eizouken finger.
All the anime characters are just yellow skinned.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's about like the Karate Kid, like the plot of that. Kids getting bullied, and like the janitor like teaches them karate.
Okay.
And then the guy says the line of the show right in the beginning because the kid's getting swirly.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a turd floating around, and they spend a lot of time on that scene. A lot of turd to face tension. And then the janitor comes in. He's like, take your hands off. Take your hands off. What's the name of the person?
Eizouken.
I'm just going to type that out so I remember.
It's just strange. Zouken.
Okay. Yeah. So then after that, the kid trains karate, and like instead of going after the bullies, he saves the bullies from like getting, bullied by somebody else or robbed by somebody. And then they become friends, and then they like become like a ninja squad.
All right.
Yeah, like all his friends learn karate, and they kind of start like a neighborhood watch. And every episode, something happens, and they resolve it, and you learn a lesson. And that's what I think that is.
You are farther away than normal. Sometimes you have like brief synapses of the actual plot.
Which is hilarious because I've never seen literally any of the.
Right. But this is a 12-episode anime that from January 2020 to March 2020. And I found out something interesting. About 2 weeks after the anime ended, and I don't think you knew this, Brandon, a 6-episode live-action series started.
I did not know that. I can totally see this being a live-action one, though. This is one that would translate probably pretty well.
And there's going to be a movie that's a follow-up to the TV series.
Oh, cool.
And
I'm in.
The live-action series had 3 members of Nogizaka 46, which is an AKB 48 type girl band. So the movie was supposed to be out in May, but due to the whole global pandemic, it's been shoved back until September of this year.
I mean, that's fair.
Wow.
But I'm just surprised it got a live-action rendition 2 weeks after the anime ended.
Yeah, it's a bit surprising that it went that quick.
Eizouken actually means film club or film association.
I kind of assume that's what it was, given what the anime has in there.
So it's about 3 girls that start a film club so that they can make anime.
Oh, okay.
Basically because the school already has a anime club and they don't want anything to do with them.
Well, the one character's parents strictly forbid her from joining the anime club. Hence why they needed to make another club under a different name to make anime. So they wouldn't be suspicious.
Mm-hmm. And let's just say, the 3 main characters are Miss Popular, a tall, lanky, grumpy girl, and a goblin.
I was gonna say one of them is just fucking Slender Man, but female with a face.
I was considering calling her Slender Man, but I'm like, is it kind? But yes, she is probably 6 foot, maybe more. When
She's 5'11". She's the one character we actually have the height for. She's 5'11". Whereas like the other ones are like who the fuck knows and goblin. One is average, one is goblin height. Like she's literally, I think, like 4 foot something, like 4'1".
oh man, and Asakusa, who is our goblin.
Our resident goblin, yes.
Yes, she
does not know your grandfather.
Is she an actual goblin?
No, we just refer to her as that because she has a lot of these weird ass faces she loves to pull.
Oh, okay. She's one of those where like she stretches her face out and does the.
Well, like you've seen Gremlin Diva, right?
Yeah.
Like, let me see if I can find that one image because there's a damn good one. Perfect. I found it. So she does a lot of weird faces, including one like this, which just immediately reminds me of a little goblin.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah, and she has a highly, highly active imagination that tends to draw people into her fantasies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really interesting, just the art style for this, because she's also an artist, kind of, so she tends to do a lot of sketches, and her world is kind of a colored pencil like art style too.
I was gonna say more like it's watercolor.
So you have your actual characters walking around in a watercolor background world. So just the juxtaposition of the 2 styles blends really well together somehow.
Yeah, because it transitions into like the fantasy world really, really well. You get the feeling of immediately when it's happening. Like literally, it starts off with like Asakusa herself is a character that is very much a world builder. She builds the things that are in the world itself, from the landscape to the technology that's built in the world to all that other stuff. And then we have one of the other girls, Mizuzaki, who's more the character designer. She's the one that creates the animation and characters. And her shit, oh man. They start layering stuff over top of each other to the point where they create things like a mechanical dragonfly like plane, I guess.
I guess like that's what it was.
Yeah, like the cockpit is like the main head of the dragonfly, and the wings literally flap.
Oh, cool.
And that's what like gives the propulsion, and they even go into like Food Wars level of explaining how it works.
Oh god.
And when like an anime production is finished, it literally seems to leak out into the world. Like the first one they do is one where it's like some renegade girl on another planet who's wielding a machete and fighting a tank, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, like as the audience sees it, one of the guys we see in the audience looks over to the side and sees like, I don't know if it's like a trash can in real life or what, but it's like he looks over at it and it looks like a smoking shell to him from the cannon that's mounted onto the tank. And he's like, wait, what? What is that? He has to do a whole bunch of double takes between the screen and back and blink all this like a lot and be like, what the shit's happening?
Yeah, and it keeps flashing between the shell and inside the auditorium with the maybe trash can, and just keeps flashing back. Although this is a really good series, I do have one small complaint. Because there's so many handwritten notes in the anime itself.
Yes. Now, I'll be yes. There is like an entire section where like Asakusa is just standing there, essentially in front of her sketchbook with a giant pointer and just like announcing some stuff. I'll completely agree with you on this. It very much hinders the progression if you want to read all of that. And I feel like they're going to have to change that if they localize it, because right now this is only in Japanese as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, just so many subtitles, and I was watching on GoGo Anime, which I typically do, and sometimes some of these subtitles were cut off or overlapping the translations to the notes she had.
Yeah, that can be very infuriating. I can totally understand that. Like, I did the same thing where I stopped and I was like, I need to read what this says because I'm super interested. And then it was just like, oh my god, there's so much to take in. Like, there were points when that was happening that I had to stop, I think a total of like 5 minutes to read everything. And I'm like, this is really hindering the progress of this thing. Like, it's bad. The show itself is great. That is the one big goddamn like footnote of this is a problem in there. And maybe not they'll fix it when they dub it.
Maybe?
I don't know. Like, I have a hard time figuring out because I don't think I've seen another anime have a situation like this where I can say, like, unless they rewrote it in English, I don't know how you'd fix it.
Speaking about translating it to English, I do see that the first issue of the manga, or first volume, is coming out in October.
Oh, nice.
So far there is 5. It says it's still going on at this point, but I don't know all that much.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not too sure like how often it gets published.
Yeah, it's hard to say because honestly, normally I'd hear about this as a manga first. This time I heard about it as an anime first.
Mm-hmm. Because the 5 volumes came out January 17, September 17, June 18, May 19, and January 2020. So that seems pretty randomly shuffled around.
Either way, I'm going to be honest. My favorite character is Tall Girl, Kanamori. She is the best because she's the one that beats these morons. Like, to the point of, like, get your shit together. We can't do all this in the time frame. Like, she is your manager.
Yeah.
Like, she's the production manager. He's the one that makes sure that the feature creep in games doesn't become a problem. Or in this case, anime. Like, you're not going to sit here for, like, what, a year making this anime that needs to be done in a month. That's not happening.
I like Mizusaki. She is best girl in my opinion because I find her backstory to be more interesting.
I'll give you the backstory because Kanamori and even Asakusa doesn't really get much in the background. We get a bit of Asakusa at the start, and that's only for like her original introduction to what anime is and can do. Whereas we definitely get a lot more time with Misuzaki's parents and stuff, and her whole "you're not allowed to do anime" shit. We definitely get way more involved with her backstory than any of the others. I'm way more curious though about Kanamori's, because it seems like she must have come from like a very poor background to like be as hung up on money as she tends to be.
Oh, and I did notice this. Did you see Mizuzaki's credit card?
So the black card?
I saw it, but I don't know if I actually like paid attention to what it said.
The expiration date is 2051.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. I wish they did last that long.
I mean, her two parents are actors. I wouldn't be surprised if for someone like that, that credit card exists.
Yeah.
No,
They got
I
those
took it
black
to mean
debit
this
cards
takes
or-
place a little
In the
bit
future?
in the future.
That could be. I could see that.
Because they did have that voice ordering lunch system at school.
I was gonna say like that actually makes a bit more sense when I think about like the setting in the school that they're in and like the little town, because that place is like half flooded like Venice. Like they even say it, like the place is built up like you had your original base town at one point, and then they just kept adding shit on top of it. Like we even get to a point where like they're exploring like an aqueduct or whatever, and they find an area that's been flooded out that used to be like a parking lot and streets.
Oh,
Damn.
I do see here there is a freeze frame calendar that's in the 50s.
Well, there you go. It is in the future.
That's pretty cool.
A lot of the like,
But
just the backgrounds are beautiful.
But it's, other than the fact that it says it's 2050 with slight things, it's pretty much modern day-esque.
okay.
Yeah, there's nothing like super futuristic going on.
It's not like people with TVs on their heads.
Nope. There's like you said, the lunch ordering thing, which I honestly just kind of assumed was something that was like near future Japan, which, you know, I guess this is only 30 years in the future, so you could argue it is near future. Yeah, I didn't even think about like, is this taking place in the future? And normally my brain jumps to that kind of shit. Didn't this time.
Huh.
Because like the details in that are so minor as to when it takes place.
Yeah.
Like, you got to keep an eye out for that shit.
Yeah.
I
mean, does
you know
it,
what? Kind of the same way they talk about like when they're doing the anime production, like the same idea. The details are hiding like what the actual setting is.
This I mean, this show probably could have taken place in like how far into the past though. I'm trying to think. Where like would this show would like the time setting even matter in this show? Is it that like
Yes and no.
Okay.
They do use like digital technology for drawings and stuff.
Okay.
So there is that. Like they have one of those drawing tablets there that's actually a full-on screen that you draw on.
Yeah, there's like really nice ones.
Mm-hmm.
A couple grand.
Like you've got those. They do start out doing all, you know, manual drawings, and then they're like, we can't get shit done in time without, you know, getting a more bigger tech version of stuff. So that's when they move on to getting other things, because they start this club from the ground up with no budget. Plus, we have things like the student council that are trying to shut them down.
The student council is so badass.
They have the security club on their side, who are just dressed in riot gear that says security club.
Have you guys seen that movie Good Boys?
I've heard of it. I don't know if I've watched it.
It's kind of funny. But they have like a anti-bullying squad. It reminded me of that. Where like if you're getting bullied in the hallway, you just yell, "I'm being bullied," and like a bunch of these kids will run and like make the crowd go away and just like walk you to your class.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
It
if
sounds
that was
familiar.
what
I think
that
I
is.
have seen it.
But yeah, it's just like one of the scenes in the movies. It's pretty funny, I guess.
Um,
The coming of age.
This school has so many associations within it. There's like, what was it, Brandon? Like some carbohydrate analysis club?
something like that, and they kept screaming about an amoeba. To which I'm like, oh my god, fuck, we're in there. We're in the anime. We didn't even try.
And wasn't there like some like some small wheeled vehicle that was like trying to get upstairs?
Oh fuck, was there? I don't remember that.
And maybe that was the amoeba that a different club was working on?
Mm.
And speaking about clubs, the audio club. I wish Parker would have more time.
That was a cool setup. Like the entire thing is lined with shells of audio samples. Like that's such a cool thing to look at.
I kind of felt bad for her that nobody wanted to join the club too.
I'm on, here's what I was surprised by, all right? I was shocked that they went the route they did with her, where it was like, we're going to rent out the space to you and you can sell off the music samples to make money. I thought the way it was going to go was like, you can join the club and then we can just claim that the audio is resources for film. Like, I thought, like, there is a very simple way to go about this that doesn't even involve money. But of course, our good friend Kana Money needs her cut. I love. See, here's the other thing I like about Kanamori. She is just a fucking thug sometimes and has all these connections that I'm just questioning how the fuck do you know these people? That's why I want more of her backstory. It's like, how do you have all these connections? You're a fucking like first year high school student. How do you know somebody that's going to like send out DVD copies? How do you have the blackmail to threaten these people?
She's one part Yakuza, one part Izaya from Durarara.
Like, this is why I love her, because she's so fascinating. It's like, where did all this shit happen? And like we get a small backstory with her involving like her first learning how much she loves money, I guess you could say. By helping out I think it was her uncle, like her aunt and uncle, I want to say.
I think it was their convenience store.
Yes, it was their convenience store. And where she was like helping every day to like make it work, and they would like give her extra money because she was always there helping. Like doing like extra parts, like cleaning away snow from a vending machine so people could, go to that rather than just the front door.
Mm.
And she has good ideas too.
She is very much, and they state this outright, a girl with a good head for business.
While the other two are complete idiots, kind of.
Well, common sense, they are brain dead. Whereas with Kanamori, her creativity is like absolute zero when it comes to like artistry. Now, when it comes to making fucking money, she is A grade.
The other two girls get distracted by a butterfly and then a tanuki.
I mean, hell, one was told, hey, we need to fix up the clubhouse because it's literally a fucking aluminum shed that's falling apart. And the next thing you know, she's wearing a fucking rusted bucket on her head, pretending to be an astronaut, spray painting shit.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Hell, what was it? What was it? When they were fixing it up, like, both Asakusa and Misuzaki were on the roof trying to repair things. The ladder falls down, and they're both freaking out, one of which has to pee. And Kanamori's just like, well, fuck it. Like, the desk that she was like working through was in front of like the main door, I guess. So she's just like, fuck it, and bashes through the wall and slams the ladder up, only to find out that those two morons had gotten off somehow.
Oh
God.
And like every time she does something nice, it's like, this is an investment. It's like, I'm taking you guys out to eat because it's an investment. You're going to be working like hours upon hours to make this anime. And of course, because Misuzaki's technically like a model,
Mhm.
you need to use that as leverage to get more people buying the anime.
Oh my god.
Like, she is literally a thug with this shit, and I love it so much.
Yes. But I will still say Mizuzaki's still best girl.
She's meant to be. She's designed that way. She's supposed to be your, she's the only one that's designed in a way that you could consider like normal anime, really. Like, even from an art perspective. Like, the shape of her face is the shape you see in most animes.
Okay.
Like, the normal style of
Now,
her face.
Do
Whereas,
they draw the anime the same style as the show?
no,
Okay.
much,
I
so
thought that'd
much,
be funny if they did that.
no. Much like the fantasy section, it is a different style completely, and for each anime they do, which I believe there are a total of 3 within the 12 episodes,
Correct.
each one has a different style.
And it has 3 main story arcs, 4 episodes each about them working on bigger and bigger projects. I would be very interested when this has enough material for a second season. If it does continue on, like, where will it go from here?
I want to know, because it looks really cool.
Because
Like,
arc 1, the first 4 episodes were about them making something for their school, going, hey, we are the film association, we are worth being funded by the school, we're not worthless, here's what we have to offer.
yeah, this is our budget. Give us something. We need a budget.
The second 4 is the town hears about them, then saying, hey, we want our town promoted with a short film. So that happens, and then Comic-Con happens.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm sorry, Comet A.
Well, then you got like the whole situation of just like the student council and like the teachers coming down and like you can't earn money outside of school, and it's like we're barely making enough money with what we're doing to turn any kind of like to even break even.
Yeah.
Like, we need the excess money.
How long? So it's like after school activity, basically.
Essentially,
How long do they like stay at the club?
it varies depending on the project.
Okay.
Most
and
of the time, they're there like almost 24 at any spare moment, including like sleeping time, like overnight.
All right.
I think Asakusa even says at one point, I'm being a real animator or whatever, like anime creator. I'm sleeping under my desk.
I was gonna ask if like anything takes place besides like at that. Is it just like the school as the setting, or is it like?
Well, the school and the town itself.
Okay.
Usually it's the school, but they do go out on like excursions to find inspiration and other things in the town, which is a portside town too, I should say.
And that udon vendor, that fruit udon sounded interesting.
That was definitely a weird thing. Like, there's fruit udon, and like they start explaining it like not I would say Food Wars levels of explaining in this one for the food at least, but like enough where it's where you're talking about like, oh man, you need to layer the flavor to the point where like some flavor needs to be bogged down for it to be good. Because like you're gonna have durian in that ramen, that sounds terrible. It's durian. What are you doing?
I wish they would have had a little bit more reaction shots to the 2 other anime down the line.
Well, I thought that was a really interesting bit where they decided not to show you the anime until the very like the last one, until the very end. And you just see everyone popping in the discs they bought to watch it. I thought it was a really, really interesting way to pull that off. I'm trying to think, like, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. I still think I liked the robot one best out of the 3 anime they made. I think the robot one was the coolest one.
Yes.
Actually, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking I'm gonna put like the last anime on the bottom because I liked the Tank versus Machete Girl one even more because that one was really good. Like, because that one was I think that was black and white in some instances because they didn't have time to add color.
And oh no, problems keep happening with production. We need to work around them.
Or threaten people. Threatening people is always a good option.
I think for the second one, something happened that they couldn't add voices, so they had to do it live.
Yes, they did. They didn't have time to like do voiceovers, so they had the cast that they were going to use as voiceovers literally do it live as the anime was being presented. Which I'm like, that's a cool way to do it. You're dubbing in the moment.
Yeah.
Which, can be good and bad.
I would love to see the 6-episode live action series now.
I think it would translate really well, especially because, like, for the animators themselves, they can actually focus even more on, like, the anime that would be produced.
Yeah.
Like, it could look really cool, because I don't think they'd make the anime produced live action. I think that'd be a very stupid idea. Because you're kind of destroying the whole point, aren't you, at that rate?
Well, maybe you could have some of their fantasies be CGI.
Oh no, that's fine. But I mean, like the finished product anime,
Okay.
like Machete Girl versus Tank, like that I feel like that stuff when it's done needs to be an animated sequence. And in fact, even better, they make the audience that's viewing that anime the audience that's there to see the live action play. Like they pull the shit of here's a smoking trash can. Oh wait, is that the bullet is that the spent shell from the tank? Like you pull that shit on the actual audience.
Yeah.
Huh. That would be really, really interesting.
That's how you use your medium to your advantage.
And
that's something you can't do with an animated show.
And since it's only 6 episodes, how do they put it all together? Or is it the first arc and then the movie would be the last arc?
Well, the question would be is the live action series going to be canonical with it? Or is this like its own like spin-off version of this this thing?
I'm not sure.
I think that comes down to deciding how you handle it, because I don't think there's a way you could like translate this easily unless you cut out problems that they run into. I don't think you can pare it down into a 6-episode thing.
Because you don't have much more material to work with, because the 5th issue of the manga came out during the run of the anime. So it's not like they would have enough to make a live action storyline plus a movie unless it's all original material. And completely sidetracking here for a moment, but like those AKB48, how can you have 48 members to the band and all sing at once?
Yeah.
I mean, editing's a miracle, I guess.
I mean,
I don't know.
Like, I know when you see them live, like, do all 46, 48 get up on stage?
Could be. Like they could set up there like a choir. I don't know.
Huh. Although I don't want to look into them, I might have to look into them.
It's starting. The problems are starting again. The obsession is taking hold.
Out of 40,
Soon he'll find out one of the members is a tsundere.
I was just about to bring that up. Out of 46, one has got to be.
Oh my god, one looks like Rin.
Oh my god. And I think I heard like one member of AKB48 was forced out because she has a boyfriend and that is highly frowned upon.
Yeah, the idol industry is fucked. Like that's not even a question.
Yep.
Because I mean, we can't market you as a single girl that would get all the guys if you have a boyfriend. Like that's literally the idea. As sad as it is to admit, that is literally why they cannot have any relationships. They market you as a single person that might get with a fan.
So I guess that wraps up this. Wait, no,
What about our old sensei of a teacher?
what? Oh yeah,
What about the old sensei of a teacher?
who's always complaining about his beard and how he just wants to play video games.
I just want to take a rest. My back's bothering me. I've heard that, if I help run a club, that might work with my back. Nope. I'm
my
here
beard is so
24/7 because you girls are here 24/7.
My beard is so heavy. And despite it being 2050, he's playing on an old school Game Boy.
Well, he had a couple of different ones, didn't he? Like, it wasn't just one Game Boy. There was a couple of them there.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, hey, he's probably playing what he played in his childhood.
Maybe.
I mean, hey, by 2050, I'd probably be that old man with gray hair.
Yeah.
And I played on a brick Game Boy back in the day.
Back in the day.
Oh man, do you remember the Game Gear? How huge and clunky
Dude,
it was.
I love playing Game Gear. It was Rystar. That game was so sick.
Oh my god, I remember Eizouken so much.
Yeah, dude. I remember some kid let my sister borrow his Game Gear, and like I played it the entire time she had it. He let her borrow for.
I remember hearing, and I don't know why this didn't exist in the North American version, but the European version of Eizouken for Game Gear, and I think the Japanese version has a extra level early on in the game. So
Too hard
I
for
have
American.
no idea why that got cut for the American release.
Damn.
Too hard for us.
Yeah. Dumb. We dumb.
I
But yeah.
love that game.
Yeah, dude. I used to like draw. That was like one of the first things I started drawing too. Ristar.
That should have gotten a sequel.
Yeah. I think it was on Sega, like Genesis.
Yes.
But I don't think I ever played it on Genesis. Man, now I want to get a Game Gear and get that game.
That huge blue or black brick.
And like the dozens upon dozens of batteries you lost within a day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. So, I guess that wraps up this episode of Brianna's Discuss Anime. Clothing gives you power, I guess. I guess
Damn.
enough spoiler for next time.
Or is it less clothing gives you more power?
Oh, damn.
We'll have to decide that next time.
Yeah. Stay raw.
I was gonna say, this leads right back into what we were discussing before the podcast.
Oh my god, no. No! End it! end it
Oh
here.
no, they're gonna talk about it. And
Cut
then
it,
they're
cut
gonna
it.
talk about it on the podcast. Oh no!
15 plus. Okay, so until then, before this gets too dark, later.
Yep.